going to put the Questing Beast out just because it has Vigilance and Haste, so we really get to capitalize. Oh, can't handle Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to watch Hello Game, the best Magic the Gathering channel for beginners and free-to-play individuals within the arena. Today we're playing Green Ozolith. It's not a free-to-play deck, but if you're interested in any of our free-to-play decks, check out the link in the description below. It'll take you to the beginner's handbook, and then there's a plethora of material for you guys to check out there. Today's deck revolves around +1/+1 counters on our Ozolith, and then using creatures with trample or unblockable creatures to just kill our opponent right away. The deck works really good. I think it's a lot more consistent than our other Ozolith decks, just because it's a monocolor deck. So as always, we're going to take a look at the deck list, get into our deck strategy, and then go into our gameplay footage and come full circle with our closing thoughts. If you find any value within this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up and share it to one of your friends. We do have a new feature incorporated within the videos. YouTube's introduced chapters, so we have timestamps with the chapters available. So if you don't want to listen to our deck text, you can skip right into the gameplay footage or to our closing thoughts, etc. So our deck list starts out with 4 copies of Pel Collector. This is our first 1-drop. It's a 1/1. Whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, if that creature's power is greater than Pel Collector's, put a 1/1 counter on Pel Collector. As long as Pel Collector has 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it has trample. 2 copies of Gingerroot, another 1/1, this time with haste. We can pay 1. It can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with haste. We can pay 2, tap it to sacrifice it. You gain 3 life. 2 copies of Shadow Spear, a legendary artifact. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample and lifelink. We can pay 1 permanents your opponent control, lose hexproof, indestructible until end of turn. We can also equip it for 2. The Ozolith, this is a main combo card within the deck. Another legendary artifact. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozolith onto target creature. 2 copies of Stonecoil Serpent. This is a 0/0 with reach and trample, protection from multicolored, and Stonecoil Serpent enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, and it costs just X to cast, which is really, really cool actually. Moving on to our 2-drops, we have 3 copies of Paradise Druid. This is a 2/1 with hexproof as long as it's untapped, and we can add 1 mana of any color. Wildborn Preserver ×2, a 2/2 with reach and flash. Whenever another non-human creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay X. When you do, put a 1/1, put X 1/1 counters on Wildborn Preserver. Moving on to 3-drops, 3 copies of Hydra's Growth, an enchantment. When Hydra's Growth enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on enchanted creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, double the number of +1/+1 counters on enchanted creature. Yorvo, Lord of Garenbreg. This is another 0/0, however, it enters the battlefield with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever another green creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Yorvo. Then if that creature's power is greater than Yorvo's power, put another +1/+1 counter on Yorvo. On to our 4-drops, we have 3 copies of Vivian Arcbow Ranger. This is a legendary planeswalker coming in with 4 loyalty counters, +1 ability. Distribute 2 +1/+1 counters on among up to 2 target creatures. They gain trample until end of turn. -3, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker. -5, you may choose a creature card you own from outside the game, reveal it, put it into your hand. We have 4 copies of Pulchranos Unchained, a 0/0 who enters the battlefield with 6 +1/+1 counters on it, and if he escapes, he enters with 12 +1/+1 counters on it instead. If damage would be dealt to Pulchranos while a +1/+1 counter is on it, prevent that damage and remove that many +1/+1 counters from it. We can also pay 3 to have it fight another target creature, and we can escape it for 6 mana and 6 exiled cards from our graveyard. Moving on to Questing Beast, we have 2 of these. Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste, 4/4. Questing Beast can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Combat damage that would be dealt by creatures you control can't be prevented. And whenever Questing Beast deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to target player or planeswalker that player controls. 1 copy of the Great Henge, another legendary artifact. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is your greatest power among creatures you control. Tap it to add 2 mana and gain 2 life. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card. These spells are accompanied by 3 Castle Garenbregs. We can tap it for 5 to add 6 mana to cast only creatures or activate creature abilities. 15 forests, 4 overgrown tombs, and 2 Temple of Maladies. Our sideboard does exist because Vivian's -5 ability. So let's pull it up. We do have 2 more Ginger Brutes, 2 Beast Whisperers, a 2/3 whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. 2 Gem Razors, reach trample 4/4, mutate for 3 whenever this creature mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. Nyla Keen-Eyed, indestructible 5/6 is an enchantment unless your devotion to green is less than 5. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. We can pay 3, reveal the top card of your library if it's a creature card, put it into our hand. Otherwise, we may put it into the graveyard if we choose. An additional Questing Beast, 3 Shifting Ceratopsis, a 5/4 with this spell cannot be countered, protection from blue, and we can pay 1 to give it reach, trample, or haste until end of turn. 1 Andrae's Forerunner, 7/7 Vigilance, Trample, Haste. When it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance and Trample until end of turn. 2 Voracious Hydras, a 0/1 with Trample costing 2 + X. Voracious Hydra enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. When it does enter the battlefield, choose 1, double the 1/1 counters on it, or it fights target creature we don't control. That's the deck list. Now let's talk about the deck strategy. Obviously, I like to start these talks with our ideal opening hand, and for me it consists of a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and a 3-drop. Ideally, all of your opening hands consist of that, and then 2 to 3 land of the appropriate colors. In this specific build, I really like having 3 land unless we have our Paradise Druid, which will count as our 3rd. If we don't, the chance of locking in land is there, and it does suck. This is the kind of deck that really operates above 3 mana most efficiently. We do have plenty of 1-drops, but it's things like Yorvo, Hydra's Growth, Questing Beast, Pokranos, and Vivian that are really going to win us the game within those 3 and 4-drop mana costs, right? So try not to get locked on 2, 3 land in your draw hand is ideal, and then having 1 source of black, so 1 swamp, whether it's an Overgrown Tomb or a Temple, or a Paradise Druid, just so we can play our Pokranos because we have a little bit of splash for him. Other than that, the Ozolith, having that in your opening hand is ideal. It's kind of a combo deck, and it revolves around stacking your +1/+1s on the Ozolith, so you never really lose that value from all of the wipes that exist in the meta. So I really like the Ozolith. I think it brings life to mid-range decks just so they're not getting annihilated by removal and exile, which is abundant right now. And then you just have to kind of combine that with trample or haste, unblockable, some sort of evasion, right? Ginger Brute is this form of evasion we can pay to have it unblocked. Many things can have trample when they get plussed by Vivian, right? Any of our creatures will gain trample with a Vivian plus, so that's great. And then our Pelt Collector organically will have trample when it has more than 3 counters on it. So we really want to push our Ozolith tokens or our counters onto a creature with trample so that damage won't be chump blocked and it does get through to your opponent's health points. Stonecoil Serpent is also great. It has trample as well and protection from multicolor, so the chance that it gets removed is dampened because of that protection from multicolors. So again, having your Ozolith in play, having 2 to 3 land with 1 source of them being black or a Paradise Druid, and then something like a Hydra's Growth or a Yorvo is great. We can mix and match as far as our 3 and 4 drops go. Any of them work good as long as they're combined with our Ozolith and the correct land so we don't lock up when we get there. There are certain times where you're going to want to distinguish what deck your opponent is playing. If he's playing any flash or counter, we really want to get our Vivian out as a priority. Start plussing her as quickly as we can, minus it to get to our Shifting Ceratops from our sideboard, and that will help us a lot from any decks with blue in it. So that's going to be your priority. If you see any blue, try to get to that Shifting Ceratops as quick as possible. If not, one of my favorite plays is playing the Ozolith, right? Playing the Paradise Druid, playing Yorvo, Lord of Garenbrig, or Pelt Collector instead of Paradise Druid, and then Yorvo. They remove Yorvo. You play your Questing Beast. 4 tokens from your Yorvo go to your Ozolith. You play your Beast. Now your Questing Beast is an 8/8, which is absolutely insane. Like, that is madness. An 8/8 Questing Beast on turn 4. Woof. So that's a great way to do it. Pokranos is a really great way to stack tokens on our Ozolith as well, just because it enters with 6 and then it enters with 12. So much like Yorvo, these are great targets for Hydra's growth already because they come in with 4 and 6. So when they're doubling, you're almost skipping your first couple turns of the compound effect because you're not needing to deal 1 to 2 from 2 to 4. You're going from 4 to 8 and 6 to 12. So it's a lot quicker of a ramp. So Hydra's growth is my favorite on Pokranos or Yorvo, but if you have to put it on your questing beast, so be it. That's going to be fine too, as right. Even on your Stonecoil Serpent, that's an ideal play, even at that, because maybe you get a 4/4 Stonecoil Serpent in, and then it'll become an 8/8. Well, 9/9 really, because, or 10/10, because it pushes it to 5 and then doubles the next turn. Yeah, so it would push it to 10. So you can see kind of the benefit of having Hydra's growth in the deck, just because the deck focuses around Ozolith +1/+1s, so it's doubling your counters, and then those counters never really move or are removed from the battlefield. They go to your Ozolith, unless he deals with your Ozolith. Teferi bounces suck. But that's basically it. That's the whole deck list. Wildborn Preserver is great because it allows us to play our Pelt Collector after turn 1 and still receive value from it. So maybe we're playing our Wildborn Preserver on turn 2, and then we play our Pelt Collector on turn 4. We can use that other mana that we've not used on our Pelt Collector to push up our Wildborn Preserver, which normally would just be wasted if we didn't have any other spells to use up that mana. So it's really focused on making sure that you use all of your mana all the time through Stonecoil Serpent, through Wildborn Preserver, right? So that's really nice. Even your Pokranos is a great mana sink. You can fight other creatures. That's the deck strategy generally. It's a aggro mid-range deck, I guess, with some survivability. I don't know how you want to classify it. It's really a lot of fun to play, though, and I think it's going to be an archetype that we continue to progress and fine-tune as we go. So if you have any comments, suggestions, constructive criticism, right, leave them in the comments below, because obviously I am trying to fine-tune these decks and make them the best that they can possibly be for all of you guys. With that all being said, I'm live on Twitch every single morning, 6 a.m. PST. I'd appreciate your company. We have daily uploads on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified of our future uploads, and share this video to a friend who you think might find some value or entertainment from it. We also have a Discord of over 1,000 members, beginners to experts, all levels. It's a great place to not only share your experience with the game we all love, but if you ever run into any roadblocks or looking for help, guidance, advice, anything like that, it's a magical place for that, right? With that all out of the way, let's get into today's gameplay footage of Green Ozolith. Thanks for watching. Make sure to stay tuned to the very end when we come full circle with my closing thoughts. Now let's get into it. The hand doesn't look too bad. I think we can keep it. Gingerbread's kind of like a late game drop. We don't really want to play with that until we already have our Ozolith on play. But nonetheless, we'll get there. Bridesmaid. Ooh, interesting, right? We have land now for Pokranos, which is great. I don't really mind trading with the Pelt Collector. He doesn't want to lose his Ajani. Prince Charming, life gain. Okay, interesting. Still can't attack. And then we'll kill him with our Vivian. Ooh, we get our Ozolith. Nice. As long as he doesn't concede here.
Close your eyes and listen to the sounds of the wild. You picked the wrong fight.
Chomp, chomp. Let's only attack with our Yorvo here. He blocks. So we clean up 2 of his creatures that turn. That's really nice. Linden, and good game. We even had our Ozolith to play. That's awesome. This hand looks great to me. I'm sick of playing against Obosh, but that's fine. We do have our Shadow Spear for that if we can pull it. Even then, though, it's pretty hard to get it actually out and in play before this guy starts wrecking you. We don't really need to play our Ozolith turn 1. Oof, that can stay. That's very good. Especially against Obosh, because we can fight his smaller creatures. So we have a Yorbo out next turn, and then followed by Polkranos, and then a Questing Beast to take all those counters if he is able to kill them. A great hand, just pretty neat as well. That's going to be our first source of life gain. Really? It's bad either way. We couldn't block the initiate because the first strike would have killed us and kept him alive. But at least we get to trade here. I'm going to put the Questing Beast out just because it has Vigilance and Haste, so we really get to capitalize. Oh, can't handle it. Normally this is a great hand. I'm actually going to toss it though. I don't care for 2 copies of Polkranos without anything to back it up. This is, I feel, a lot better. Right, we have our turn 3 Questing Beast. Let's toss our Preserver. It's just a nice 1/1. Let's get something on the field. We want to ride our mana curve up, so we'd be playing this on turn 4 for 5 potentially. Which I don't think we're really into. Let's just get going towards this Questing Beast. Well, I'm sure he's got a counterspell here, but whatever. No, negative. Let's try it. He must have a flash creature. Just a Brazen Borrower. Okay. Surviving, buying time. Now he gets 3 mana on the field, and that's going to be equivalent to a counterspell. But he doesn't get it. It's an Elspeth's Nightmare. Target non-land, non-creature. So, he can't take our creature. So we'll play our Vivian Arcbow Ranger. And then we'll start pushing up our Stonecoil Serpent.
My, how you've grown.
And that way he just sees that we have a land and a creature. He can't take either of them. Thought Erasure will take my Questing Beast, though. That sucks. Whatever. He's out of mana. Scry 1 to the top's not healthy. Take 2 life. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a nice mana sink there. Let's just keep pushing the other up to match it. 2 5/5s with color from or protection from multicolor, sorry. And we have lethal next turn. Graveyard's irrelevant to us. Vivian can minus, pulling something from our sideboard, or the Smashy. That's exactly what we're gonna do. We have Shifting Ceratops here, I believe, do we not? We should have. That's fine, though. Let's just take our Questing Beast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now he has to spend his mana on this, or, like, either way, it's just a good game. Needs to bounce the Stonecoil Serpent, I guess. And then only take 9. Or maybe he's got double borrowers. I was sure that we had a shifting Ceratops in our sideboard. That's something that we'll want to add for this exact equation, right? And we see an Omen. That's absolutely fine. I'm not sure he's got anything that can kill. Like, Ritual Suit's 3 and below. So that would survive. He could double... No, double Cry wouldn't even do it. He does get the Soot, but now he dies to the Beast. We pull a second copy. Awesome! Opponent goes first. That makes us sad. It is a Yoron. We have a nice hand if we can land out. And we get a couple chances to draw the land. So, the way you need to do it is you need to know that we have a 40% chance to draw land. And we know we have 3 draws before we get to not having a land. So, 3 times 40 is 120. So, in 3 turns, we'll draw 1 land. Right? 1.2 lands. So, we'll get to 3, which is helpful. Because we draw before we play every time. So we get 3 draws because he played first, so we drew first, and now we get our land. So we basically know that that whole equation resets. So it's helpful to track when you got your last land so you can always run that ratio. I know that sounds weird, but if you want it to be smart, I think that's how it's done. Keyword, I think. I have a lot of people asking if I made day 2 yesterday. I was actually really busy this weekend, so I called it for my for my well-being, I guess, and I just went and enjoyed the sun. I had a lot of responsibilities to take care of this weekend, so I decided not to hit the slots. However, I did watch a couple others hit the slots, and it was really entertaining. Day 2, I think, is going on right now. People are going absolutely insane. I'm really curious to see which Yoron Luca Agent deck does the best. LOL. He's got to the top there. Excuse me, which is incredibly frightening. Let's spread our threat out as much as we can. No attacks. So we do have 1 Benefactor here. Obviously, he's probably just going to play into his Luca and Agent our stuff, which sucks. But we can play our Vivian's Arcbow minus to kill the token that he that he has, and he'll have to play something with Flash. Excuse me, I'm choking up. And geez Louise. So you'll see he's doing just that, right? Like exactly that. It's brutal. Let's just focus on stacking our counters, I guess. Even though when he agents it doesn't leave the battlefield, so I don't really get it with my Ozolith, which is really unfortunate. We were in a position where we could have Vivian minused our Yorin on his Yorin, but then he's still left with a 0-4 to minus on his Luca, which is unfortunate. He decides just to take it. That's fine. Yeah. It's not ideal. Hopefully he's not hitting his drops. Okay, so the Elspeth's actually fine because the counters from Yorvo go to the Ozolith from exile. And those can hit either our Pelt Collector or something like this, right? Now let's do the same thing. It sucks. He could have a Teferi, which will really save him. But we get that nice 8-8 trample in play. Down to 9. right? And we have more shenanigans next turn if we can survive. Pelt Collector is immune to Elspeth, but he could still snag our Hydra's growth. Teferi bounce on Pelt Collector sucks. It's not the worst because the counters go to the Ozolith. He's main phasing an Omen in play. That's always a good thing. And he's going to play a Birth as well. So he's really just grasping at straws. He's 10 defense in play. And he's tapping 4 of them. Makes sense. We double. Oh, I see. So there's nothing he can really do here, right? He gets hit with a substantial amount. Down to 2. We really need to spread our threat here. We have 4 available. I guess let's get our Yorvo in because of the counters that it brings to the field. Again, he could still agent this 15/15 Pelt Collector away from us, and it would be absolutely terrifying. But we just pray that he doesn't get either an organic agent, because now he's at 3, 4, 5, 6, can play to 7, or his Luco, which can minus on literally anything to pull out the agent. A Teferi minus doesn't necessarily work great because the counters go to the Ozolith and then onto the other creature, which we can give trample to no matter what it is with our Vivian. He has no ECD to bounce, which is great. It's just more Omen of the Sun, more Omen of the Sea, more Birth of Maltese. That's fine. We're okay with this. I think we may be witnessing the comeback of Mono Green. Right? Looking pretty groovy. We double up 29/29 Pelt Collector. You gots to love it. Am I right?
Oh, I am gonna love tearing this place to the ground.
Woof. So this is great if we draw a land, but we've seen how that can work out for us, so I'm not sure it's good, but we have to risk it at least a couple times to learn that it's not what we want to do. And we do pull a land there, so that's nice. Looking for a swamp here. Let's just keep ramping. Nice. So we couldn't have flash block. That wouldn't have worked. It's a good thing we didn't try, because I'd way rather ramp. Should we push? Alright, so we're actually competing damage-wise here, which is nice. He's got a great field, though. Corpse Knight, that's sick. Right? As long as he doesn't get Worthy Knight, the one that starts making the tokens, we should be okay. I don't get it. What would he have? Does he really rock Infuriate? A Rimrock. Okay, we still get the kill. No Ozolith in play to convert off that, but it is what it is. Pushing him down to 10 unless he double blocks for the kill. Ooh! Okay, we're holding our own. That's nice to see. Oh, okay, that's not the worthy knight. Good. So, we should probably just kill this Inspiring Veteran, shouldn't we? I think that makes sense. Alright, that's fine. A good amount of damage into the henhouse. Yet again. We have 17 life plus life gain engine. I'd call this match right here. Worthy Knight, that's what we were worried about. Worthy Knight and Corpse Knight. Pretty stellar combo. Ooh. And a curry favor. That's always great. Let's just take it. Good game. He doesn't want to finish it out. A good hand. Like any green deck, though, we do need to dodge removal. Let's see if we can do it. Mono red, of course. Bone Crusher Giant coming up. A Cavalcade, so I have to block here. Or I don't. I just take it. Now I can block it. That's fine. As long as there's only one champion, I don't mind. Questing Beast should help us catch up, and then Vivian can start removing these creatures. Of course he does. Yikes. We have to toss this. It's not nearly good enough. We can live with this if we draw land. We go first, so the chances of drawing that fourth land is rare, but we should be able to get the third. Hopefully, just hopefully we draw land. Negative. It's gonna, oops, like we didn't mean to pay for that land. I did, because I'm gonna flash in my preserver, of course, but maybe he plays something with haste and tries to attack. Ominous Seas, interesting. Yorvo on the field with 4 counters is great, especially with the Hydra's growth in hand and an Ozolith already in play. So hopefully we can just make that work. He's got a full mitt, so it's going to be hard for us to get around and survive, but hopefully we do. Temir, draw. Interesting. Growth Spiral, main phase. That's awesome. He missed a land drop and he's looking for it now? Question mark. Haste life for it. Is he gonna shock? Ooh. He could even lava coil. Okay, okay. Nice play, nice play. Let's get our Pulcheranos out. Oof. Declining our Preserver. We have no mana to pay for any +1/+1s. Okay, so he slays our Preserver. Two 6/6s in play. That's awesome. We have 12 +1/+1s that aren't going anywhere. And a Hydra's Growth. So, we have game already. I guess he could chump block. We still have lethal here. We didn't even need to use our Ozolith. Good game. Hey! What did you guys think of Mono Green Ozolith? There's hope. Maybe today's matches just didn't work out so much in our favor, right? With your guys' help in the comments below, I think we can fine-tune it and make the deck a little bit better. So let me know what you thought and how we can improve the deck for our next session with it. I'd really appreciate that. I'm live on Twitch every single morning, 6 a.m. PST. Appreciate your company. Daily uploads on YouTube, which you're watching now. Don't forget to like the video, leave me a comment, subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so for your chance to win up to 500,000 gems, and then hit that bell icon so you're notified of all of our future uploads. If that sounds awesome, make sure to share this video out to a friend as well. We also have our Discord, over 1,000 members, beginners to experts. It's a great place to share your experience, get any help or advice that you might want on a new deck you're building, and come compete with us in our free to enter community events, win some cash prizes, get some gems on that account, and unlock those new decks. Thanks for watching, you guys. I really appreciate your continued time and attention, and those of you who choose to support me financially, both on Patreon, YouTube, and Twitch. You guys are awesome. I would not be living life without you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Most importantly, go have a great day, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Woohoo!